Oh, it's fun, crazy. It's painful, but it's wonderful. What is the name?
It's Royce Unchained.
So, Patrick, where were you on Saturday night when you saw that the Dallas Mavericks and Lakers had pulled off what might be the big, as far as I'm concerned, the biggest, most shocking in-season trade in professional sports history?
Yeah, I think everybody, including our friend Johnny K, thought it was a hoax. I remember, and that nobody had. When I'm looking back at the Twitter at the time when it first came out. Of course, once again, Sham and Wojo's not doing it anymore, but the insiders were left dumbfounded by this. Nobody had a hint it was coming. Apparently, including the two coaches, were not told. It was just the GMs making it at the behest of the owners, I guess. But I don't. I think that I could try to get a hold of my guy Sweeney down in Dallas, but I got a hunch that he has been buttoned up too, and they can't really talk about it. I know they were disappointed in Luka's conditioning this year and the fact that he's hurt again and he's missing a lot of games, but Anthony Davis misses a lot of games too. He's 5 years older, and somebody said that Dallas, the Mavericks, have lost like 100,000 Instagram followers. People are protesting. They're up in arms about the trade. So it caught them all by surprise, that's for sure. It seems so one-sided that it's because they not only they ended up giving them some other players, and the only guys they got back were Davis and our guy Christie's brother, Max, right?
And they got one draft pick, right?
Yeah, they got one draft pick, and somebody got two or three of them out of the deal, right? No, Sacramento on the Darren Fox trade.
Yeah. The Jazz got involved and got like a couple of draft picks, too, because the Jazz love to facilitate trades.
Jazz love being in the middle of that. But apparently Dallas saw a little potential in this team, and the way they'd been playing, and wanted to stay out of the second apron, right, for permanently, or they would have had to give him a max deal when another year from now or something.
Yes.
They would have had to give him the super max.
Yeah.
The player really gets robbed in this thing though because he didn't stay with one team. It's sort of the rule was put in to influence players to stay with their team, right? But this caused Doncic to get traded because they didn't want to be stuck with the supermax. So I looked at it and said, huh? Here's the other thing. Supposedly no one knew it was coming. If you got Kyrie on your team, you better have called him in and told him, right? Because what if Kyrie decides to pout? Then you're really in trouble, right? Because he can do it with the best of them.
How did you not at least, and I know that the goal was for it to be hush-hush, but how do you not at least create some competition on the market, too?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
They
apparently.
they didn't do that.
They just talked to the Lakers, right? Pelinka and I don't have any idea who the Dallas GM is, but Cuban doesn't own them anymore, right? Somebody else owns them.
No, this trade does not happen. If Cuban owns them, no way this trade happens.
No. It is weird, to say the least. And, boy, they got this loyal fan base down there. They've been selling out for 10 years or something. Do you really want to give them an excuse to stop coming to your games? I don't know. It's like, Ant is younger, right? Not that much, by the way, a couple of years, but that'd be like sneakily trading Ant and and all of a sudden he's gone, and the next time you play at home, you got 8,000 people in the stands. So it's they got the tickets sold for this year. They're fine, but
right.
Good luck next year. It is really it is. I'm not saying it's. I'm not saying it's the biggest ever because I'd have to, kind of stretch my brain a little bit. But it's pretty close.
Like,
NBA in season, yeah.
Yeah, like this happens sometimes in like July, right? Mm-hmm. Like this is on a Saturday night in season. I can't think of a trade in a professional sport as big. Herschel was traded in season.
Yes.
But I don't know that meets the, because Doncic was also loved. Like the Dallas fans love this guy.
Yeah. Well, you got to love him because he taunts the other team's fans, and he's a great shooter, and he's, he doesn't exactly bust his ass to get down to the other end on defense, but who cares? It's a shot makers league. Man, I wonder if the Lakers are in Dallas in the remainder of the schedule. We do. I don't know if they are or not because sometimes teams only come to a town once, and I don't know if they've been there yet. But that will be a raucous evening. Whatever NBA TV plans were made have been changed dramatically. If there's next time there's a Dallas Lakers rematch, that's for sure.
Well, on TV has to be the national people have to be loving this.
Oh, and everybody will be trying to give you insights, and they have no insights at all as to how this happened.
No,
and why it happened. What are these two guys drinking together at some NBA meeting and decide to come up with this trade? I mean,
the Lakers are in Dallas on April 9th, third to last game of the season, already on ESPN.
Oh, already.
Now, when's Doncic back?
We don't know. I don't know. He's not. I don't think he's a notoriously fast healer, but we don't know. Davis is out though too. He's got something wrong with him. So it's I don't. So you don't give either of those guys a heads up either? You just call them up and say you've been traded? Is that the way it sounded?
That's how it was reported, that the GM from Dallas left a voicemail because Doncic didn't pick up his phone and didn't hear back from him. Mm-hmm. And texted him too.
And Doncic probably thought it was a prank too,
Oh God,
yeah. It is this is the NBA. The most popular thing about the NBA isn't actually the games during the season, right? The regular season. It's the player movement because one guy is so important in basketball compared to every other sport. So it's like the most exciting day in the NBA is when the legal tampering starts, right? When you can make trades, but they can't be like when the Jimmy Butler trade here. We knew we got traded on June 22nd, but they couldn't make it official till July 2nd or something like that.
But you're right. You're exactly right. The thing about it too that intrigues me is this: I think the younger fans actually are attached to players and not teams.
Yes.
So like, I think the Mavericks lost followers on social because those people didn't care about the Mavericks. They cared about Luka. Right. And now they'll just go and follow
That's true. I remember Chip telling me 4 years ago, he has a son, a basketball nut, 14 years old then, 15. Mm-hmm. All they cared about was him and his buddies. All they cared about was Ja Morant. They didn't care about the Timberwolves. Now they probably like Ant now, but they loved Ja, man. So the fact that he was a psycho is not isn't the greatest. But
kids don't care about.
Yeah,
that.
It is. It's because it's not watching games; it's watching videos. Is what it's about. It's like. In a lesser way, I've had all kinds of baseball coaches tell me, college, high school, that their players don't sit down and watch a ball game. Mm-hmm. They don't watch the Twins. But they watch highlights. So that's why Shohei's so popular, because every once in a while he hits a 500-foot home run, right? And that's why he's popular. And they don't except for the NFL, the whole idea of watching games is how long is TV going to keep paying these ungodly fees for people not to watch it? NBA's trying to come up with all these solutions to raise their ratings. That's because the youth of America is not watching anymore. That's why your ratings are down. They're watching your videos. They're watching everything else.
Yes.
You know what baseball should do? Bring back a free This Week in Baseball. That's what they should have. That'd be their most watched thing of the week would be, hey, a half hour of the best plays all around baseball, So, and
It's true. Just a hip version of it. You're right.
And the NBA, if Ant dunks over somebody, that creates a bigger audience than a game, if he dunks off somebody. So
and you'll watch it, that will live for how long?
Yes,
Months.
right. Yeah.
Go back and watch that Ant dunk. No, you're right. So I think part of the problem is, or part of the issue is, the NBA executives are old guys, and so they think, how can we get people to tune into games? And to what you're saying, and you're right, the young kids are like, we don't watch games. We just watch highlights.
And now they're we're gonna shorten the games, and we're gonna get more people to watch. No, you're not. It's not. You know how you could get more people to watch, at least in the older age group, is not have the last 2 minutes take 25 minutes. We got to get to bed.
You covered you covered that Gopher Washington game on Saturday. I watched the end of that.
They're reviewing stuff that doesn't need a review.
It's two last place teams.
Yes, let's go.
But the timeouts too.
Man, no, yeah. The fact that they started giving them they've been doing this for 100 years, the 4-minute TV timeouts, but they never took away any of the timeouts from the teams, so they can still call 4.5 or 3.5 or whatever it is. It's and the reviews everywhere.
Yep,
drive you nuts, but I think it's more in basketball even than it drives you nuts because they're over there, 3 of them. If you ever watch a WNBA game and they're reviewing, you'd like to go down there and, whack all 3 of them upside the head. Let's go here. We don't need 7 minutes to find out who tipped their finger off the ball, for God's sakes. It's unbelievable. And, was that 8.6 seconds or 8.8 seconds that we have left? That drives me crazy, too. Get rid of them.
Yeah.
As I said last week, I think, the NFL reviews great because they got us transfixed. We got to wait for the ads to end over to see what the verdict was. Mm-hmm. But everybody else, these plays aren't that important. Possession with, on a questionable thing, 28 seconds to go, and to delay the game 5 minutes to see who tipped the ball is just ridiculous.
And you play too many games for that.
Yes,
NBA,
that's
you play
true,
82
too.
games. We don't need to sit through every single thing. And then these officials, they go and talk to the league's center, right? Why can't the people at the league just take a quick look and say, here's your call?
Yes.
We don't need you to participate.
They're looking at their little screens. I don't know. In college basketball, though, they're making the decision, right?
College basketball is beyond help.
Yes, it is. Looking at these little iPads, right? Little things, and see.
It's beyond help.
Those 3 guys they had working a Gopher game Saturday were awful. The one guy, Phillips, the guy down on the baseline who watched them push Dawson Garcia out of bounds and gave he's a non-vaxxer. He got thrown out of the NBA because he wouldn't take a vaccine.
Well, he should.
Yeah, he probably hates Minnesota because we're vax crazy. So he said, "I'll screw you guys." I don't know. Yeah, obviously, but they were terrible. And then a technical foul the guy called. God Almighty, that was brutal.
On Mitchell?
On Frank Mitchell going like this near somebody. He was happy. he didn't threaten anybody. It was, but the Gophers are, bad. They're just how they. I said there's going to be studies done.
You sent me a text, yeah.
Studies done 20 years from now on how this team won 3 straight games against fairly competent opponents because they stink. Their guards are awful. The guard, Mike Mitchell
What happened
Jr.
to him?
Mike Mitchell Jr. couldn't beat me in horse. He can't get a shot off, for one thing. He can't get a shot off. They went from 13 minutes left to 5 minutes left. The only guy who scored was Garcia.
Yep. Yeah, I think Ben's probably gone now.
Yeah, Ben's had it.
I feel for him, but I think he's probably gone.
Yeah, there's, everybody's saying Coyle didn't want to hire him anyway. Coyle wanted Brian Dutcher, and they wouldn't let him have him. So he's not going to get Brian Dutcher now. You're going to get some no-name. Be nice if you could get the guy from Iowa State, but I don't think we're going to pay that much money. And he probably not. He's got to be happy down there. He's the guy that went to Vegas for 1 year, and then he's done a wonderful job. Right? Yeah, TJ Olhauser or something. Yeah. He can really coach, I guess.
That's a good job, Pat. Ames is a good job.
I know, because it's it's they'll let you do. There's got to be Iowa. The Hawkeyes are 3-1 over Iowa State in that state, but that corner, there's still some rich guys there that care about Iowa State that take care of them. So
yes.
But meanwhile, Fran might get run out of Iowa. They're down on Fran, man.
They're not good.
I was very upset over the weekend, though. They retired Caitlin's jersey, and they didn't invite me to come down for the ceremony, the guy who discovered her. So
I think it was your cell phone, stepping on her cell phone.
Yes, right.
That caused some friction between you and
that's right. We're not as close as we used to be. That's for sure, because I did. Because as I said, I got to think Caitlin, like last year, this was last August, I believe, she had some memories on that cell phone, like presidents and kings and Hollywood
Taylor
actors.
Swift.
Yeah, right.
Why was it on the ground, though?
That's not my fault.
On the ground, right?
Yeah, she put it under. She wrapped it up on the ground, and it was put underneath a piece of clothing, a cloth, or I don't know what it was, on the ground. And my eyesight, I was just kind of stumbling down the steps and then walking along the sidelines, just And I got news for you, Caitlin. You didn't get my full weight on that phone, because if I had, you would have been picking up shards of glass. So anyway, it's amazing though. I watched like 5 minutes of that Iowa Southern Cal game down the stretch when Iowa, who was not very good this year, beat them.
Yep.
That crowd was insane, and there was every 8-year-old girl in Iowa was there with a Caitlin Clark jersey, and they were the happiest people in the planet to be there with Caitlin. It's just incredible. Is it? It's one of the phenoms of my life in sports. Really, it's incredible. It really is, and I'm what. I mean, there's comparables, obviously, but I can't really think of them.
In women's sports, though?
There
have been some fantastic athletes. I don't know there's ever been a person in women's sports, though, that's been this
who could show up and put 18,000 people in any arena in the country. Yeah. That's
what's
right
odd
about that.
It's Gretzky-like.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, Gretzky was. And the thing about it, I guess Gretzky was, we had the build-up for Gretzky. This happened suddenly, really, within a 2-year period. It really happened suddenly.
Thanks to your
long
car drive.
If I hadn't driven down there, I can guarantee you, I was the only 75-year-old white guy to get in a car and drive the hours and hours to Des Moines and Iowa City and back in a day and a half just to see Caitlin Clark. That was when she was a sophomore.
Yep.
When she was a sophomore and not even a phenomenon. So there's no doubt
It's
that
like the old baseball bird dogs who would hear about a kid and then go scout him and discover Kirby Puckett or something like that.
That's right. Jim Rance's son discovered Kirby Puckett, but that's another story. Calvin had all the bird dogs. That's my favorite. Calvin had 4 scouts in South Dakota and none in Texas. I don't think that was a good idea. Do you?
They were probably drinking buddies of his.
Yeah, all these old guys in South Dakota, twins bird dogs. The Twinks had South Dakota covered, baby.
No one was going to get out of that state without us seeing them.
That's right. That's right. Hey, the best basketball on TV all weekend, though, were the Tommies. Our Tommies right here on AM 1500, Score North, put on quite a show. Chris Finch, Sue-Ann went and had a pretty good column on it. Finch was sitting behind the bench, apparently, behind John Tower.
What caused that?
I think he's that kind of guy. I think he just went to watch basketball, you know. And
said, I just watched my team lose to the Wizards. I got to go watch something better than this garbage.
So I taunted my niece about the Wizards. I told you that her husband is the Wizard chef. The husband's a great guy, but he's the chef for the Wizards and the Mystics. The Mystics were almost as rotten as the Wizards this year. I think they were the last place team.
He fired their coach, yeah.
So I texted her on Saturday and said, the Wizards in town tonight, and boy, are they excited. Yeah, the city's excited because, one road win coming into the game, 1-21, and their second 16-game losing streak of the year.
Yep.
I don't care how many people you got hurt. You can't lose that game.
No, you can't.
No, it's impossible. I don't know. We were mad I didn't watch much of it. We were mad at Finchy because he didn't play Dillingham enough in the second half, or what?
He played him in part of the third quarter. Dillingham struggled and was benched for the rest of the game.
Okay.
And so Conley played a ton, and Joe Ingles played a ton.
I saw Joe Ingles. I turned it on, and Joe was Jim Pete and his partner got very excited about Joe making one play, but those are hard games for Jim Pete to explain away with some of those losses. I mean, it's easy to blame it on the injuries, but God, there's something, aren't they? They can the number of bad losses is mounting. There were very few of those last year. They didn't. When they were supposed to beat a bunch.
Huh? You're right. 2 years ago, they lost a bunch of bad games.
Yes. Yeah.
Last year they didn't, and now they're back to doing it again. Sorry.
Yeah, 5 or 6 of them that you can't lose. And usually with a terrible start, too, right? I mean, that's kind of, they give the other team encouragement. Now, I think that game does show you how much this team just relies on Edwards, right? I mean, it's they don't show up without it. But you know who disappointed us all? Luka finally gets to play, and he goes 0 for 6. He doesn't make a shot. Look, this was a few days after Finchy told us Luka, who never plays, was one of his favorite players of all time. I had a hard time figuring out. I had a tough time putting those two things together. If he's one of your favorites of all time, maybe play him 8-10 minutes a night, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. But you're right. You should beat Washington without Ant, without Julius.
Yes.
I mean, you still should beat them.
Oh, God, yes. Now, tonight, it'll be interesting to see what Sacramento can put on the court, because I would have Levine, that trade, those guys traded, can that be approved yet? I mean, is Levine Levine ended up there, right?
Yes, he did.
With Sacramento?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
It seems quick.
Huh?
It seems like it would be a quick turnaround.
Yeah, because that trade wasn't made till yesterday morning, right? Sunday morning.
Yeah, at some point in the morning.
Yeah.
Morning maybe.
That's a weird trade. I mean, I'd give my anything for De'Aaron Fox. I love that guy. See, There's another team that's now better than the Timberwolves.
Yeah, San Antonio.
Fox and
Wemby?
San Antonio. Yeah.
Yep.
Pop isn't coaching yet, though, is he? Is he back?
No,
What's
he's
he
not.
got? He's got something bad, right?
Stroke.
Some kind. Huh? He had
He
the
had a
stroke. That's right.
The stroke
Yeah,
the
that's
day
right.
of the Wolves game there.
Okay. Then he
And they-
still hasn't recovered.
And he hasn't recovered yet. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's not back this season.
He was going to quit 10 years ago. I know some other guys like that, but what the hell? You know.
But to your point, he's got a good team now.
Oh, God, yes. Yeah, Fox
De'Aaron
is
Fox and
terrific.
Wemby?
Yeah. They got a future down there. Yeah, so I don't know where. So Zach is. What's his Zach contract? I thought, is he up for? Did he already get the big deal, or is he up for the big deal? I can't remember which it was. But
I think he got one big deal, but I don't know where it stands as far as the life.
Collie, our friend Collie, who covers the Bulls in a fashion that not many beat writers get away with, because he's probably the most candid beat writer in America, right? Wouldn't you say, Joe Collie?
Oh yeah,
He never pulls
he's
any
a surly
punch.
beat writer.
Yes, but he's, and he'll fight with people on Twitter and unbelievable. But he's not been a big Zach fan. Zach's defense has become very optional for Zach. But man alive, how many years ago has he been out of here now? 7 or 8? 8 maybe, Zach?
Yeah, probably 8.
When did they get rid of him?
Yeah, it's been a
Long time.
Yeah.
Time.
Did Gerson trade him?
No.
At the beginning of
Or yeah, maybe it was
at the beginning of
Gerson. Flip,
Gerson?
yeah,
It's
it
been a
wasn't
long
Flip.
time.
Flip drafted him though, right? He was Flip's guy the year before Cat. Was he
And
the
then
year
they-
before Cat?
Yeah, and then they kept Wiggins, I think, and decided to pay him and not Zach, so they traded Zach.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! Zach did Zach go in the Butler trade?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That was Tibbs.
Yeah. Tibbs
That's
did
right.
trade him. Yeah.
That's right.
And then that was right. Jimmy's available. If you want to pay
2016,
Jimmy, if you want to pay Jimmy 53
Well,
instead of 50,
what
you
are the
can
Suns
get him.
doing too? Why would the Suns want this?
Is there rumors they're going to take him?
That's the only team that he wants to go to. Golden State was talking trade, and I think Butler said, I will not sign an extension there. I want to go to Phoenix. And the Suns want him. Why?
Why?
He's crazy. He's a pain in the ass, and he's
They'd
old.
They'd be in the triple apron. They wouldn't be in the second apron. They'd be in the third apron if they get him.
I think they
now.
want
I
Durant,
suppose Miami would have to take Bradley Beal back, right?
but he's got
make.
a no trade, and he's basically said he would invoke that. So I have no idea how the trade gets done. It's going to have to be like a 4-teamer.
Yeah, and Bradley Beal probably, if he gets traded, if he's got a no trade, he gets traded, you're going to have to give him a new deal, right? Which they probably don't want to do because he's not playing. He wasn't playing that way. He got benched basically in Phoenix.
Yeah, he's coming off the bench, I think, still. in
Yeah.
Phoenix. But why would you want Jimmy?
I don't know. That's what makes me nervous about the Ishbia movement here with the Twins. I hope they're smarter in baseball than they are in basketball if they end up with the Twins team. So we're going to have a big civic celebration if they get it, and then we'll find out if they're idiots or not.
Well, so Matt runs the Suns. Jason, his brother, who's based in Chicago, would buy the Twins, right?
But Matt's money would be in on it, I think.
I'm just curious if Matt. If
They
Matt's
paid.
the one that likes to
Here's
deal on deals.
something though. Here's interesting, right?
Uh-huh.
The value of franchises. You probably get the Twins for $1.5 billion, right? They paid $4 billion for the Suns. An NBA franchise is worth 3 times more than a baseball franchise now.
Yeah,
It's incredible. Excuse me.
yeah. Well,
So,
it's
I don't
one
know.
more popular, and two, the league is perfect. Like that league, salary cap for player control, right?
Yep.
TV, you got that. You know, they talk about the ratings are down, Pat, but the reality is they just signed 3 mammoth TV contracts.
Yes, right. Yeah.
You know, baseball's hurting. Basketball's in fantastic shape.
Yes, they are. It's and I said, and we just talked about the ratings are down because nobody under 25 watches a game anymore. They
Right.
watch videos. So Nobody who sits down, if you're not there, do you ever sit down and watch an NBA game from start to finish? I don't.
No.
I don't watch it start to finish. I
No.
watch a little bit, go somewhere else, come back, watch a little bit more. I don't sit there. It's like I tweeted this out yesterday, and people got on me, but I used to be a golf nut watching golf. I'd watch the John Deere Classic, They have driven me away, not only because of LIV, but because of how long it takes to take a swing. And the number of ads are just incredible. I mean, they do, in an hour, they do 18 minutes of ads, and it takes 5 hours at least to play around, a little more. Pebble Beach, and they had a good field this time. I think they made it a compulsory tournament, and this year because it wasn't in the past. And they get Rory as a winner, and some of these other guys that are now their big names. I watched 15 minutes, maybe. Used to watch 4 hours. I was just too slow. I don't know. And the whole LIV thing makes you sick too. So anyway,
I saw a clip on Twitter where this guy stood over the ball, right, forever. His second or third shot. So he finally hits the damn ball, and he duffs it. It's a terrible shot.
Yeah.
The CBS people start going after him. Well, we waited all that time for that shot. So they're now mocking these guys, which is hilarious.
Yes, and I was talking about it. I got a suggestion. The player and his caddy have to walk at a steady pace to where the ball is, right? Mm-hmm. The caddy gets 30 seconds to talk to do the conversation with the player, and then he has to back up 5 yards and shut up. And if it's a violation, if you say a word to him, it's a 2-stroke penalty. We can't, and DeChambeau was the worst. We can't have these 7-minute discussions on whether it should be the part of the skill of the game should be pulling your own club, shouldn't it? To figure out what you want to hit. You don't have to, look at thing. And then of course, and then the putting. Somebody said, well, the other thing that also drives you crazy is that the putting, that they read it like 42 times, that you should get, 2 minutes max to putt. Once it's your turn comes, boom. I'd say 1 minute max, because
that's long enough.
If you're maybe when the guy gets to the green, the guy out gets 2 minutes because he's got to look a little bit. The other guys could be reading the putt while the first guy's putting. It is so slow now. It just doesn't. They would love to have the youngness of baseball's audience because it's only like 55 years old. It's got to be my age, people watching golf now. It's unwatchable. The other sport that's went in the tank ratings-wise, I guess it's a little better now, auto racing. I remember, 20 years ago, auto racing was the deal,
was
man.
Huge for a while.
It was the thing, and all of a sudden it just, I don't know. I think we became more anti-car as a culture, right? I don't know what it is.
I also think the names dried up. Like for a while there, there were like 4 or 5 huge names, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's like a ton of NASCAR guys that are household sports fans names.
No.
The car racing fans know them.
Yeah, right. I mean, they never retired till they were about 60 now. Some of them are, some of the guys are like, Dale Jr. quit at 40 or something like that.
Went to TV, yeah.
Yeah, and Gordon quit. I mean, he drove into his 40s, but he quit fairly young. He shows up once in a while.
But he was a huge name for a while.
Oh God, yes.
Everyone
and he was very. You're either for him or against him because he didn't have any grease on him, but he was. this idea he didn't pay his dues. Well, he was driving in sprint cars when he was 12 or something. I mean, he was.
Right.
They just didn't like him because he was from the north. He wasn't from the south. So,
but that made it more fun too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Good. Now it's I watch I hardly do any. I watched Daytona for 20 minutes or something. I went down there four times. I was there when Dale died.
Yeah.
That was that's the last time I went. Not out of protest, but just because it's not really important now. Hey, you and I should both put a plug in for Randy First's last ever story for the Star Tribune was epic, was it not?
I read it on Saturday and texted you immediately. It was so good.
He retired like 2 weeks ago, right? That was a week
I didn't
ago.
know that.
They had his going away party, yeah, a week ago. This was the last year of his newspapering. I remember I run into him in the office. You don't run into people in the office because I'm not in there that much. But I said, wonder what the hell he's doing now. And we didn't know that he was going through reams and reams of records and contacting 90-year-old people who remember these two little girls getting killed in 1963. It was an epic story, man. It was the best. Not nearly as many people read the print and get the print anymore. But that was a story that should be read in print, really, because it was all the photos and graphics, and it was fantastic. These two little girls, they never really solved the crime. Randy gave us two pretty good suspects in that piece, but they never solved the crime of these two little girls who went out to play Saturday night. Amazing thing about the one old man, the one stepfather who they looked at, right?
Yep.
He was very upset because he didn't make it to the wrestling matches.
They had
Apparently,
tickets to the wrestling, yeah.
They didn't have any money, he and his wife.
And the two girls were playing, I think it was basically where downtown is now, but
it was 17th Street or something like that.
But they were playing in the piles of dirt where they were building 35.
Yeah,
and
right.
94.
Yeah,
it's a great story.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and the amount of work he did on it is the amount of records that he went through. He must have had some help, right, to go through that many records.
I'm sure the library helped.
You know what was
Johnny Wareham
caught my attention more than not more than anything, but caught my attention. Jim Parsons, who's still alive, 89 years old in Florida, I think was working in the pit at the courthouse and that overnight shift in the courthouse to get in the next day's paper. Anything happened, and he was in the apartments of these people looking for their children at 3:00 in the morning. Was out there. I mean, it was. They always. You were there when they still had the overnight guy in the building, right? The guy listening to the cops.
I did that a few times. First time in my life.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's. I think that's gone now. I don't know anything about it, but I don't know who you'd contact if you've heard something. But yeah, it's amazing. 1963. If you wanted to read about it, if you wanted to find out about a story like that, you needed us. You needed the newspapers. And Randy's piece is just. It's not only a great piece, but it's a look back in time, really, of what the world was like back then. No DNA, and
the fact that the cops allowed reporters to trample the crime scene where the bodies were found in Plymouth is one of the most incredible things.
Yes, it is. There had, and he quotes somebody on how all the things that the cops did differently then than they would do now, but that's the way they did it in '63.
Yeah.
It's not like just the not only the reporters trampling a scene, but other cops and stuff. I mean, it's just a fantastic piece, and those two little girls, and never solved Never at least solved. The second suspect, who just died more recently, right? Was it the second one who died more recently? That looked pretty.
I forget.
That looked pretty suspicious because he killed two other women. You know, he killed and admitted to killing two sisters because. But it's worth reading, that's for sure. And that's
a college class right there.
Yes, it is.
Because he did the most difficult thing, in my opinion. He investigated it, got all the facts, blah blah blah. But then he also personalized it.
Yes.
So like you read about the suspects, Pat, and you like begin to hate them. Mm-hmm. Like the stepdad was a terrible guy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But like he went and got background on the stepdad, like that. Yeah, he did it. He walked a really fine line of it's investigative, but it was never boring. It was almost like a story that was written about a fictional, which obviously this was not.
And this is 61 years ago.
Yep.
To find people who knew them. To tell you, but then a sister and to find a few people who could actually talk about them, that couldn't have been easy, even in the internet day. But he was something. He's been there for a long time, and he was a strong union member, to say the least.
You think?
Yeah, right. He was, I will say this, the last time I was at a listening session, and, the Star Tribune is, no matter what happens with the Timberwolves, the Star Tribune is extremely lucky to have Glenn Taylor as an owner instead of digital media or somebody that, right?
Yes.
But it didn't stop Randy from being somewhat abrasive in the listening session, to say the least.
He was a bulldog in every sense of the word.
Yes, he was. He was.
He could take a court case document too, and find out stuff. I think I came upon. I think part of the contraction story for the Twins around 2000, Pat, was I came upon something that I had requested for my TV column as just like a Fox Sports thing, right?
Yeah.
So I got it, and I started to read it, and it was like, what's this about? I took it to First. First bulldogs his way through it, and before you know it, has a 1A story. And I mean, I just had a document. I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
He was just a great reporter.
He was. He had the right attitude now. I mean, he would burst into your.
Yes.
You open the door a crack, Randy would figure out how to get inside and have you talking to him. So it was a fantastic look at a tragedy and a fantastic look at another time in copdom, in newspaperdom, in the Twin Cities in general. And the weird thing is, they kind of let it go, right? They didn't solve it for 3, 4 years.
They didn't solve it. They closed it. They reopened it, I think, with the second suspect you're talking about in the 70s.
Yeah.
But the problem is, back then, they destroyed so much. And like, to your point, they didn't have DNA. But that story is begging to be a Netflix series.
Yeah, almost.
Like, it would be a great Netflix series.
It could be a 4-parter, that's for sure. Yeah, it could. It could, because it's, one of those flashbacks to time that based on fact. So, anyway, congratulations to Randy First on a long, distinguished, and feisty newspaper career.
Long live Bulldog reporters.
Yes, right.
We lack them too much now, but he was one of them.
Were he and McEnroe ever a team?
I don't think so. Ison and McEnroe.
Paul had different partners than Randy, because Randy was doing more of the daily stuff. I mean, this is I wonder how many of these he's done, because this thing had to take a year. Basically, somebody asked about it on that Curious Minnesota, over a year ago, right? And they put him.
Yeah, it was a great tip or a great idea.
And I think somebody else is our curious Minnesota, and they make a few calls.
They're probably like, I want no part of this.
Right 20 inches, but they had to, they showed it to somebody and first went after it, to say the least. So it was great to see that. I mean, it not great because of the little girls, but it was
really
great.
well done.
It was great to see that kind of newspapering again. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
because the Pulitzer, when I first started in '89, was Lou Kilzer and Eisen for the Fire in St. Paul
Yes,
series.
right.
And
Yeah,
then
that one.
McEnroe worked with Eisen, I think, for a while, and then McEnroe and Tony Kennedy, who I think is in sports now, were a team. I think first basically worked solo. I don't remember him with a partner.
No, he did a lot of city, stuff but he would. He had to be the oldest employee in the newsroom. I think I'm not an employee, and I'm a part timer, so I would think so. It was great. So what else we got? Oh, what about our? What was up? What was up with Ryan Hartman? What caused that to be? It was stupid, wasn't it? I mean, it was.
He melts down at times, and it's a complete.
But what is he mad at? They're playing bad, but
he was mad about the fact that the guy that he got the penalty eventually for slamming his head into the ice, Tim Stützle, had slashed him earlier in the game, and Hartman got called for roughing out Stützle and embellishment because he took a dive when Stützle slashed him. And I think he was mad about that. But the problem is he's been suspended, I think, already
Bunch
like
of
7 times. And now he's going to probably get 4, 5, 6 games. So
yeah.
At some point in time, it's not worth it anymore.
And we just we better hope we're not playing Ottawa in the Stanley Cup Finals because we can't. Ottawa's beat them bloody twice, right?
Yes. Well, no, they beat them here, not bloody. Saturday was terrible. But how about this statistic?
Didn't they beat Ottawa beat them here when they came home from a road trip, though,
Yep.
right? Didn't they?
Yes.
With 3-0 or something. Did they get a goal
it
against
was a
in
Sunday
either
night
game
game.
against Ottawa?
I might have got 1 goal in that game.
Okay, yeah.
But here's a stat. The Timberwolves at home, 12-11. The Wild at home, 11-12-1, which basically means 11-13. Both of these teams cannot win
At home.
How?
Yes.
How is this possible?
I don't know. And so we can't even look forward to March when 11 of the 13 games are at home. When is this stupid 2-week break, by the way? Next week?
It starts after, the Wild plays 3 more games, 2 home games, Thursday and Saturday, and then they're off for 2 weeks.
Okay. Now, when is the trade deadline for hockey? Like it used to be 6 days before the season ended or something. But
hold on a second here. I've got it written down. Old school calendar. I'll tell you. It's early March. It is
really
March
early
7th.
March.
March
It's
7th.
unbelievable.
We got a
They
trade
just let you move. They let you move. 20 games left of the season. They let you still trade people. Yeah. It's incredible. It's
and we've had a bunch of big trades
is St. Louis going to make the playoffs? Or are they iffy?
They're very iffy.
They're very iffy because I was wondering if Jimmy Snuggerud would end up being with them for the playoffs. Because I would think if they were going in the playoffs, they'd try to sign him after the season.
Did you see his first goal on Saturday against Wisconsin?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, he's something. He's something.
What a shot.
I had breakfast with Hastings Friday, and he said, that guy scares me. I don't want him anywhere near the puck. He said
he got near it, top shelf.
Yeah.
This much room.
Yeah, and allegedly, Faber had a lot of influence on him not signing last year because St. Louis was willing to sign him last year.
Okay.
But Faber said, I think what Faber said was, I'm getting this secondhand, obviously. Faber said, listen, if you play another year, you won't have to play in the minor leagues. You're going to go, you can do what I did, just go right to the majors and never play in the minors. And if you come out last year, he might have had to spend the first half of the season in the minor leagues or something. So
that makes some sense.
Yes.
But boy,
he's good, man. He can shoot the puck. Ooh, man.
Did you see the crowds?
Yeah, damn near 11,000 on Friday. How big was it Saturday?
That was so on Saturday, 10,894, the biggest ever for a single game in the building. 21,641 for both games. It was on Friday when I was there. It was fantastic.
That's okay. We still hate the Big Ten, damn it. We want to play North Dakota and Bemidji more often.
We love to
hate
play
the Big Ten.
Wisconsin where the students can chant F the Badgers continually.
Yes, right. And they let them do that now. And we were.
Oh, we did nothing about it, no.
Remember when we tried to get the students to stop taunting, and the students stopped coming to the games because we wouldn't let them
We're
taunt
just glad
anymore.
they're there. That's exactly right.
Yes.
We're just glad that they're there. Whatever you want to chant, you chant.
Yes, that's right. That's right. This is maybe they're getting their they've been very erratic, but maybe they're getting their act together because they got talent, man. They got talent.
And the students now, every game I go to, the students turn out now. And I don't know
Yes.
if that's because the basketball kids all bailed because the basketball's so bad or what, but those two sections now are filled. It's great.
So, what is they need a new building over there, about 8,000, 9,000 seats
Yep.
to play both basketball teams and the volleyball and the wrestling. But if you do that, if you build that arena, which it costs you $250 million or something, you got to have all these other gyms too, right? For the women's got to have their workout place. The men got to have their. Now they have
But
they have
theirs,
those.
right?
They have the buildings over at
Yeah.
they do have some stuff in the athletic facility.
Yeah.
But you would need a smaller arena to go with the bigger arena, right? 9,000. But you don't want to go. But I don't think they can.
I don't know.
They can't afford it. Where are they going to get the money? They're not going to. Pinky McNamara's dead. Bob's dead. So I don't know where they're going to get the money.
The St.
They
Thomas
gotta-
program, Pat, is in better,
Oh,
overall.
God, yes.
Because they've got the boosters.
Right.
And basketball-wise, I'm telling you, they're within five years of, if not sooner, of being our Marquette.
Yes.
Catholic school, small school, but you can load up on basketball talent.
And here's the other thing. I noticed that, Seattle back in the day had Elgin Baylor and was a powerhouse. Seattle, the Chieftains, the inappropriate nickname of the Chieftains.
Okay.
And then they either quit sports altogether or went down to Division III and played non-scholarship. I don't know. They pretty much gave up athletics. And then they became D1 again 6, 7, 8 years ago. But they ended up in I think they ended up in this goofy conference with all the orphans that spreads around, that was around the old WAC, whatever, when the WAC became the Mountain West and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Well, I noticed Washington plays them in Seattle. The campuses are probably 5 miles apart. Washington plays them. The biggest basketball game college basketball game in Cincinnati every year is Xavier versus Cincinnati.
Yes.
Marquette versus Wisconsin.
Yes.
There is no excuse not to play St. Thomas. And if they beat you, you're not losing to a terrible team. And Xavier often beats Cincinnati, and Marquette often beats Wisconsin.
St. Thomas
and
is better than you right now.
It's okay. It's
Yes.
okay if they beat you. It's not some great humiliation.
Yes.
It's fine. Just have a good game and come up with some trophy for it. I don't know what it is.
You name me another team in the country that, to your point, has a school in its backyard that they refuse to play.
Yes, and
I don't know.
A, you draw people, and B, you wouldn't have to pay. They'd come over, give them $10,000 and a bus ride, and they'd come over and play instead of North Alabama for $80,000 or something. It's going to draw 2,200.
That should be part of the agreement with the new coach.
Yes, that's
You
right.
have to play. If
But-
youth don't want to play
but
St. Thomas, get out.
I don't think Coyle wants to play him. but maybe I'm wrong. I
mean he doesn't want money.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's Ben or him or both. But the only people not playing them now, right, is women's basketball and men's basketball. I would think the women are.
I thought the women
I
did play
suppose
them.
they don't let the women schedule them because they would think it would be an embarrassment to the men.
Women did play them, no?
No, not in basketball.
Oh, I thought they did. Okay.
No, they played them. They've played them in hockey. They're in the same league in hockey, for God's sakes.
It makes no sense. It
doesn't. I do like St. Thomas though. Yesterday on the telecast, they had this great video of the new arena, which is going to open next fall. Yep. Even though the neighbors have still got their signs, and they got some judge to say that they didn't do a proper environmental study, and I think the judge he didn't have the authority to make them stop building.
Yeah, they're still going. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to have it done. So what do you think they're going to? Neighbors, what do you think they're going to? They might fine them $100,000 or something, but the arena is going to be there next fall. You think they're going to take a good citizen that brings as much money into St. Paul as St. Thomas on that little 82 acres and tell them they got to tear down an arena they just built, for God's sakes?
I have but one question. Where do people park? That's my question.
Oh, yes, that's a question. I think that...
Can I park in a driveway of an already pissed off person from the block? So might as well piss them off more by parking.
Here's what the city won't let them park them in their yard. If they let them park in their yard, like used to be in Green... When you used to go to Lambeau, you'd park in somebody's yard. Right? Maybe then the neighbors wouldn't mind it.
It's like the State Fair, Pat.
Yeah, they're going to have a ramp. I think they're going to build a new ramp to go with the other ramp. But the ramp, you're gonna have to leave with 8 minutes to go, no matter how close the game is, else you'll be there for a week trying to get back out of the streets.
You can catch the rest on 1500 ESPN.
That's right.
Look at that cross promotion. Just get in your car and turn it on.
I got to call Curry. Curry refereed that game. I got to think that team's easy to referee with because they don't hack. They just move, a lot of movement, a lot of ball movement.
He's a hell of a coach, Tower.
Johnny, yeah. And they're playing the same offense they played in D3. And although when Fritzy called him, they were more post-conscious than these guys are. They realize that, they don't have... And the 6'8" postman in Division I doesn't quite do for you what they did in Division III.
Crazy question for you. Is there any chance, and I'm sure he wouldn't do this, but that Tower is to this state what Bo Ryan was? Small school guy, no one knew jack about him, gets the Badger job, and was fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think Johnny would be a Gopher candidate. I mean, he's who knows, but he's tied that place, Cretan guy, and
I'm
he's
just asking.
He's tied. I don't know. They when they're going to hire a coach here, they're going to end up with Nico Medved or somebody like that, who's basically, he had, when Thorson worked for Medved, they got better players than they're getting without Thorson, but they got Thorson now, but they don't have any money. So not big money. I think there's rumors they gave Dawson $400,000, but then there's nothing around him. So
right, exactly. All right, before we go, tell me about the best place to get a car.
Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers. Fantastic deals right now. Low interest rates. Some of them 0. Some of them 0.9, 1.9. Incredible stock. Incredible inventory of new 2024 or 25 SUVs of various varieties. The Encore, the Envision, fantastic SUVs. Sierra trucks, too, the big heavy-duty trucks, GMC's trucks. You're seeing a video right now, the sales staff, and they got the veteran sales staff. they'll make you a deal that you can't turn down. I've been saying that 16-year-old granddaughter of yours or daughter needs an SUV for her hockey equipment. She's turning 16 shortly. Go to Buick, give you a variety of SUVs you can't believe. In fact, when you go to the parking lot at a hockey game, at a youth hockey game, you see a variety of Buick SUVs there. Anyway, Jim Paul, Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers, they're my guys. Apple Valley is where I've done business for 12, 15 years, but there's also a shop on the other side of town in Hastings. So go check them out. Great prices, great deals, and great inventory.
Outstanding, Patrick. Talk to you soon.
All right, Judley.